My name is James. When I was young, I never thought learning English was important. I thought it was just another subject in school. But as I grew up, I realized something. Everywhere I looked, people were speaking English. The movies I watched, the games I played, even the songs I loved, they were all in English. I felt lost sometimes because I didn't understand everything. My friends William and John, they always laughed at jokes in English. They seemed so smart, and I felt left out. One day I was in class, and my teacher asked me a question in English. I didn't know what to say. My face turned red, and I felt tears in my eyes. My classmates laughed softly, and I wished I could disappear. It was a small moment, but it made me think deeply. I didn't want to feel that way anymore. I wanted to understand. I wanted to be like John and William, who could speak and understand everything easily. My mom, Ava, noticed I was upset when I came home. She asked me what happened, and I told her about the class. She smiled softly and said, "James, English is important. It opens doors. If you want to talk to people from other countries, if you want to understand the world, you need English." Her words stayed with me. I started thinking about all the people I could talk to, the books I could read, and the places I could visit if I knew English. I started reading small books. I would sit with my friend Michael, and he would help me. At first it was hard. Every word felt like a mountain to climb. But Michael was patient. He always said, "Don't give up, James. You're doing great." His words gave me strength. Little by little, I got better. Soon I was reading stories about Amelia, George, and Olivia. These stories made me feel like I was traveling the world, meeting new people, and learning new things. There was a time when I went to a big party. Everyone was speaking English. I remember standing in the corner, feeling small. I wanted to join the conversation, but I didn't have the words. Then, a girl named Charlotte came over. She smiled and asked me in English, "How are you?" I froze. I knew the answer, but my mouth wouldn't say it. I felt my heart race, and for a moment I thought I would cry. But then I remembered Michael's words, "Don't give up," so I took a deep breath and said, "I am good. Thank you." Charlotte smiled even wider. We started talking, and I felt a small victory in my heart. It was a simple conversation, but it meant the world to me. English became more than just a language for me. It became a way to connect with people. My friend Emma once told me, "James, when you speak English, you open your heart to the world." Her words touched me deeply. She was right. English helped me express myself better. When I was sad, I could write about my feelings. When I was happy, I could share my joy with others. One day, I was reading a book by Paul. The words in the book moved me so much that I started crying. It was about a boy who was lost, just like I had felt before. But as he learned English, he found himself. He found friends and love. It was like looking into a mirror. I realized that English had helped me grow, not just as a student, but as a person. Learning English also made me more confident. My friends, David and Thomas, noticed the change in me. They said, "James, you're different now. You speak with confidence." I smiled because I knew it was true. English gave me the power to express myself, to say what I felt, and to share my ideas. It helped me become a better version of myself. As I continued to learn, I found more ways to improve. My friend Daniel told me, "James, if you want to get better at English, listen to songs." So I started listening to songs by people like Olivia and Frank. At first, I didn't understand all the words, but I loved the music. Slowly, I began to catch the meanings. The more I listened, the more I learned. Another tip that helped me was watching movies. My friend Robert suggested it. He said, "Watch with subtitles, James. You'll learn faster," and he was right. Watching movies in English helped me see how people spoke in real life. I learned new words, new expressions, and I even started thinking in English sometimes. One day I met a girl named Mia. She was new in town and didn't speak our language. But she knew English. We became friends because of English. We would sit and talk for hours, sharing stories and dreams. I realized that English had given me not just knowledge, but also new friendships. Learning English has helped me in so many ways. It has made me smarter, more confident, and happier. But the journey isn't over. I still have more to learn, and you do too. If you're reading this and you're wondering why you need to learn English, I want you to think about all the doors it can open for you. Maybe one day you'll travel to another country and English will help you talk to people. Or maybe you'll meet someone special, like I met Mia, and English will help you connect with them. So, keep learning. Don't give up. Even when it feels hard, remember that every small step you take brings you closer to a brighter future. And remember, English isn't just a language, it's a way to grow, to connect, and to be your best self. I know I haven't finished everything yet. There's so much more to say, so many more stories to share. But for now, I'll pause here. If you liked this, let me know. We'll continue the journey together. I remember the first time I tried to speak in front of a crowd. It was a small group of friends, really, but to me it felt like I was standing in front of thousands of people. My hands were shaking, and my heart was racing. Amelia, one of the kindest girls in my class, gave me a reassuring nod. She believed in me even when I didn't believe in myself. I took a deep breath and started speaking, stumbling over my words. But something happened. The more I spoke, the easier it became. I could feel the words coming more naturally. By the time I finished, there was a quiet moment, and then everyone clapped. I remember feeling a lump in my throat, not from sadness but from pride. I had done something I never thought I could do. English gave me that moment, a moment of courage and success. After that day, I knew I couldn't stop. English wasn't just about words or grammar anymore. It was about finding my voice. I realized that the more I practiced, the better I would get. So I started speaking in English with everyone I could. Whether it was Michael, Daniel, or even little Mia, I would have conversations in English. At first it felt strange, but soon it became natural. One day I met a man named Arthur. He was much older than me, but he had a spark in his eyes that made me curious. He told me stories about his travels around the world. He had been to places I had only read about in books, places where English was the key to communication. Arthur told me, "James, the world is big, but with English it feels smaller. You can connect with anyone, anywhere." His words stuck with me. It wasn't just about learning a language, it was about opening up to the world. I remember one cold winter evening when I was struggling with a difficult English book. I was frustrated and ready to give up. But then my friend Sophia called. She had a soft voice, the kind that makes you feel calm. "James, you're doing great," she said. "Just take it one step at a time." Her encouragement brought tears to my eyes because I realized I wasn't alone in this journey. I had friends who supported me, friends who believed in me. One of the biggest lessons I learned was from a girl named Olivia. She was quiet but strong. She once told me, "James, learning English isn't just about the words. It's about understanding people, their emotions, and their stories." Her words hit me deeply. She was right. English wasn't just a tool for school or work. It was a way to connect with people on a deeper level, to understand their joys and their pain. There was a time when I met a girl named Charlotte at a cafe. She was crying softly in the corner. Without thinking, I approached her and asked, "Are you okay?" in English. She looked up, surprised that a stranger would care. We started talking, and she shared her story with me. English allowed me to comfort her, to be there for someone in a difficult moment. It made me realize how powerful words can be when they are spoken with kindness and understanding. As I continued my journey, I noticed how much my personality changed. I was no longer the shy boy standing in the corner. I was more confident, more open to new experiences. My friends like Benjamin and Frank noticed the change too. They would often say, "James, you're so different now. You're more positive, more outgoing." I smiled whenever they said that because I knew English had played a big role in shaping who I was becoming. But there were still moments when I doubted myself. One day I had to give a big presentation in front of my class. I was nervous, more nervous than I had been in a long time. My teacher, Mrs. Ava, noticed my anxiety and pulled me aside. She said, "James, you've come so far. Don't let fear hold you back." Her words gave me the push I needed. I went up to the front of the class, took a deep breath, and began my presentation in English. As I spoke, I felt a sense of calm wash over me. By the time I finished, I realized something important. Fear was just a feeling. It didn't have to control me. As time went on, I found more ways to improve my English. One of the best tips came from my friend Thomas. He told me, "James, try writing in English every day, even if it's just a few sentences." So I started keeping a journal. Every night, before bed, I would write about my day, my thoughts, and my feelings. It helped me process my emotions and improve my English at the same time. Another tip came from Donald, a man I met at a language club. He said, "James, learning English isn't just about speaking. It's about listening too." He encouraged me to listen to podcasts, audiobooks, and even the news in English. It was a game changer. The more I listened, the more I understood how people spoke naturally, how they used different tones and expressions. It wasn't just about the words, it was about how they were said. One day I was sitting by the river, reading a book in English. A little girl, probably around 10 years old, came up to me. Her name was Isabella. She asked shyly, "What are you reading?" I smiled and showed her the book. She sat next to me, and we began reading together. It was a simple moment, but it made me realize how far I had come. I was now the one helping others learn, just like Michael had helped me. English has helped me in more ways than I can count. It has brought me closer to people, given me opportunities, and made me more confident in myself. But the journey isn't over. There's always more to learn, more to explore. And I know that with every step I take, English will be there, guiding me. If you're reading this and wondering if learning English is worth it, I want you to think about all the possibilities it brings. Imagine being able to travel, to talk to anyone from any country, to understand different cultures, and to share your own story with the world. English gives you that power. It's not just a language, it's a bridge to a bigger, brighter world. So keep going. Even on the days when it feels hard, even when you feel like giving up, remember that every word you learn, every sentence you speak, is bringing you closer to a better version of yourself. You're not just learning English, you're growing, you're evolving, and you're becoming more confident with each step. I know this story isn't finished. There's so much more to say, so many more memories to share. But for now, I'll leave you with this thought: learning English is a journey, not a destination. It's a path that will take you to places you've never dreamed of, both inside and outside of yourself. So, don't stop. Keep going, and I'll be right here cheering you on. If this story touched you, if you felt something while reading it, let me know. We'll continue this journey together, step by step.